Some of you know that my issue is talking about making sure that the public schools in America provide enough funding and enough attention to the arts programs there. But because of recent issues with the entire nation financially, there's been several budget cuts to all schools, and the music programs have all been the first to go because they're not an essential part of the curriculum or anything like that. In this talk, I'm going to explain some of the solutions that could be used to try and help implement music into the curriculums, or theater, or dance, or visual arts. And there are three main solutions that I found when I was researching. One is smaller organizations working with programs like the Artist in Residence program that the EEF has set up. And then there's charter schools that have built curriculums for the arts. And then there's larger educational organizations like Create California, which is a massive curriculum building organization. For the EEF Artist Residence, this EEF is the Eugene Education Foundation, and they designed this program called the Artist in Residence, where basically they give light funding to the schools so they can hire, for maybe a period of a month or two, they can hire artists or educators, artist educators in the area that live there, just to come in and educate their students for a short program that lasts about a month. And that was very effective in exposing younger children to the arts that they had been denied for so long in those school systems. And then there are charter schools. In fact, there are 210 charter schools in New York right now, and several of them, the majority of them, have started building curriculums that have deeply integrated the arts, because, well, theater is obviously a really big thing there as well. But there's one organization of charter schools. They're called Ascending Learning, and it's a network of 7 schools that have they've all constructed a very deep curriculum for the arts, because they strongly believe that it's a very important part of younger children's education. And then finally, we're going to look at larger organizations like Create California. Create California, it stands, CREATE is an acronym standing for Core Reforms Encouraging Arts to Educate. And it's a massive funding program for schools, obviously based primarily in schools in California right now, but they're trying to reach out further and give funding to the schools, but in the condition that they use that funding and put it towards, fine arts centers, building just space for the arts students to work, or for art staff to work. So we don't have issues like what my high school did when I was much younger, where all the band students were having to work out of a trailer. So, and they work with a lot of school boards to try and implement the music programs into the curriculum, and they try to implement theater, and they try to implement visual arts as well. And a couple of them they managed to sprinkle in some dancing too. But they're trying to reach out into the rest of the nation, try and spread further east, to try and get music, arts, and theater into the curriculums of our public schools. Essentially, it's something that music, theater, the dance, the arts, they are all heavily integrated into our culture, into all cultures in the world. There isn't one that doesn't have some form of an art. And it's very important, especially here in America, even though they may find it as a secondary element in society, but it's something very important culturally to us. And so it should be placed in all education systems. And these are good ways to do it, to get with smaller organizations, or to use donations, or to go through and reaching to charter schools, or to reach organizations like Create California. And this way we don't have to, have experiences where maybe there's students that want to get into music colleges, but they haven't had enough experience in their primary schooling or their public schools to do it. So this way we have this important cultural element of life implemented into publication or into education. Okay. There's going to be some stuff